Martin E. P. Seligman, The Optimistic Child, a proven program to safeguard children against depression and build lifelong resilience. In The Optimistic Child, author Martin E. P. Seligman unveils the key to lifelong resilience, fostering optimistic mindsets in children. With research pointing to a strong connection between pessimistic thinking and depressive symptoms, Seligman emphasizes the importance of teaching children to view failures and setbacks with positivity. The book explores how conventional approaches to self-esteem might not be sufficient, and delves into the science of genuine optimism. This summary will guide you through key concepts, such as how to recognize different forms of pessimism, and offer essential skills to overcome them.
The Power of Optimism. The impact of optimism on mental health and life outcomes is significant. Martin Seligman's research on learned helplessness shows that pessimists are more likely to suffer from depression and become low achievers in life. Optimists, on the other hand, come up with positive explanations for failures, resist feelings of helplessness, and keep trying. Teaching children cognitive skills that foster lifelong optimism can immunize them against pessimism and its adverse effects. In this book, Seligman delves deeper into the subject and provides tools for unlearning helplessness and embracing optimism. Rethinking Self-Esteem. Boosting children's self-worth through the self-esteem movement may not be enough to combat depression in our young ones. The key to genuine optimism lies in doing, not feeling. For decades, society has been pushing the idea that the key to fostering optimism and reducing depression in our youth is to bolster their self-esteem. Schools and parents emphasize positive affirmations and boost our children's self-worth in every possible way. But despite all of these efforts, our children are more depressed now than ever before. The root of the problem lies in a misunderstanding of what self-esteem is. While we tend to think of self-esteem as being all about how we feel about ourselves, the truth is that feelings are only one component of a much more complex concept. In reality, much of our self-esteem comes from our behaviors and how well we are doing in life. By focusing solely on making children feel good about themselves, we are failing to help them develop the key skills and behaviors that lead to genuine self-esteem. True self-esteem arises as a result of mastering skills, finding solutions to problems, and persisting even in the face of challenges or boredom. As we shift from an achieving society to a feel-good society, we are doing our children a disservice. By placing unrealistic emphasis on happiness over achievement, we are failing to teach them the skills and behaviors that truly lead to genuine optimism. In the end, it is only by doing that our children can truly develop the self-esteem and optimism that will help them thrive. The Optimistic Child versus the Pessimistic Child. The cause of optimism is not in positive thinking or visualization, but in the explanatory style of an individual. A child's explanatory style is made up of two dimensions: permanence and pervasiveness. Pessimistic children believe that bad events have permanent and pervasive causes, while optimistic children see the causes of events as temporary and specific. This difference in explanatory style determines a child's level of optimism and resilience in the face of negative events. Pessimistic children tend to be less hopeful about the future and more prone to depression, while optimistic children handle negative events better and are more likely to enjoy life. Parents can gauge their child's explanatory style by paying attention to the words they use to talk about failure. Always and never suggest a permanent explanatory style, while recently and sometimes indicate an optimistic style. Healthy self-blame. Children who think about self-blame in a healthy way have higher levels of self-esteem and lower levels of guilt and shame. Optimistic children who take accurate responsibility hold themselves accountable for what went wrong without blaming themselves to the point of overwhelming guilt. Behavioral self-blame is another way that optimistic children learn to accept their share of blame, as it is both temporary and specific. Encouraging children to criticize their behavior rather than their character helps promote healthy self-blame. Mastering optimism. Learning the techniques to think positively and teaching them to children through modeling can lead to a more optimistic attitude towards life. The 4 basic cognitive skills one can practice to do so include thought catching, evaluation, disputing negative thoughts, and decatastrophizing. Lydia's example teaches us how we can recognize negative thinking patterns and come up with more accurate explanations to dispute those negative thoughts. Through evaluation, Lydia begins to see how illogical it is to conclude that she's a terrible mother, which leads her to focus on the most likely outcomes, rather than catastrophizing. Through mastering such skills, we learn to think optimistically and model it for our children. Raising optimistic problem solvers. As a parent, teaching your child to challenge their pessimistic thoughts is important, but it's not enough. To raise a healthy child, you need to equip them with problem-solving skills. It begins by teaching your child to slow down, take a step back, and look at the situation from another person's perspective. The third step in problem-solving is goal setting. By fostering optimism and problem-solving skills, you help your child face challenges with resilience and a positive attitude.
The message of The Optimistic Child is clear. Fostering an optimistic mindset early in life can help children become more resilient and successful in the face of adversity. Author Martin E.P. Seligman outlines how understanding the true nature of optimism goes beyond just feeling good about oneself. By focusing on cognitive skills and techniques such as thought catching, evaluation, disputing, and decatastrophizing, both children and parents can learn to recognize and challenge pessimistic ideas. With additional components like problem-solving and modeling, this book presents a valuable resource for minimizing the risk of depression and instilling optimism in your child's life.